Good morning. Good morning, our internet friends. Welcome to the Medicare Cafe. I just viciously kicked. I just get so antsy up here, and so I haven't left my office. I literally have come in today. I'm actually heading up to Iowa.
Woo-hoo!
I'm leaving immediately after this, and I'm leaving to go to Medico, aka Wellaby's Advisory Council. Wellaby's, yes, that's well-cared. Nope, that's a dirty word. Medicare.
What is Wellaby?
Medico is changing their name to Wellaby. And it's going to go through what the branding process is going to look like, so it's not like new paper.
Why are they changing their name?
Because Medico, what they're saying is what does Medico mean? They're trying to make it more like listen to the name and knows what it means. And so they're going with
what does Wellaby?
Wellaby. And my team, all they can say is if they don't have a koala bear or
I was
something
gonna say,
as their mascot.
To be a koala.
Yeah, I don't know. But so it's supposed to be I'll be I will be well. It's supposed to be a health conscious name. Listen, I will know more after tomorrow.
I think of that Willoughby Wallaby song. That Willoughby Wallaby
song. There's a song about this. Okay, I'm gonna literally walk into the meeting. It's our first meeting is at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'm gonna walk into the meeting and just I don't know the song. I'm gonna learn it.
I'll learn it.
I'll get a boom box and just walk in with this on there.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'll be. Have you heard that? That thing that says CM Ducks, MR Ducks. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yes. What is that?
So now I'm on a tangent, but now I have to do it. So, I'll be reminds me of that little children's sayings where you write it out and you just use letters and the word ducks. CM Ducks, M aren't ducks, OSAR, CDEDBD wings, LIB, MR ducks.
Yep, I'm not.
You've never heard of it?
No, anyways, I was thinking of something else.
Sorry, I just stroked out.
Okay, I have to follow up on something from last week.
Okay, let's hear it. I'm excited. Is it good?
Do you remember my TikTok?
Yes, I remember you talked about your TikTok and how
I was excited about my one video last week, how it was up to
17,000?
1,700.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
17,000 views?
I'd be really excited. It is up to almost 6,200 now.
That's awesome. So that's 6 times the size. At least 5. I don't know how math works.
Anyways, I'm begrudgingly not happy about it, but
my
happy about it.
My text I got from you at 9:45 was come in whenever. I'm just doing TikToks, and all I can imagine was you in here just dancing, doing that.
Oh, me?
Yes.
That's what you were imagining?
I hear TikToks, and I'm like, okay, so Kari's dancing in the studio, obviously. Did you ever learn any of the TikTok dances?
Not a single one.
The only one I learned, and it was because my 64-year-old mother insisted, was the one about Applebee's.
Oh.
Fancy Like. My mom.
Oh, I could do that one.
Literally came to my house and she was like, we're going to learn this.
So does your mom have TikTok?
No, she does not. No, but she's she works at a high school, so all the kids are doing it. All their kids.
Yeah.
This is how I TikTok dance. All the kids are doing it. And so she literally came to my house, and I have a wall that's just a mirror, and we stood there and we learned the dance together.
That's amazing.
It was something.
What a great memory.
60, almost 65-year-old mom.
Brian, when was my face bracelets? When she was talking about ducks?
Ducks. CM Ducks? Okay, I will post on the group the CM Ducks.
Yeah, because I need to see it.
Okay, I will post it in the group. So welcome everybody today.
We have no slides today.
Just our faces. Because Ben, who everybody knows on the show, he's also, he's kind of our tech guy. He's kind of he was voluntold to help here, and he's ever been so willing, but he is out today with sinuses because Missouri is Missouri. So we don't have slides today, but we do have a text line. We do have that. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, threats, and or promises, please either shoot them in the question box. That's what that's called now. Questionnaire place.
Box.
Or shoot me a text message. I am here
But we're going to be talking about Medicare and Medicaid,
Medicare
right?
And Medicaid. This is actually going to be the 4th time I do this training this week. There's
I'm sure
a lot
I'm
of questions.
Learn lots.
Well, we'll see. There's a lot of questions right now going on about Medicaid. And that's because they're talking about
lots of reform.
A lot of the reforms going on about basically since 2020, there has been, again, people on Medicaid saw some different changes because of COVID. And so when COVID, what basically was going on is that people who no longer qualified for Medicaid, or if they qualified for a spin down on Medicaid, they were basically given full Medicaid benefits during this disaster.
I can think of about 10 clients who during COVID the last 2 years qualified for a dual, even with a like $1,500 spend down.
Exactly. And that's what everybody saw. And so what's happening now is that states are now saying, okay, the pandemic is behind us.
Yep.
That's this disaster period. We are now in recovery. That pandemic is behind us. Now they're going to go ahead and start going to business as normal, pick up like it's 2019 again, and start actually looking at Medicaid qualifications. Now, we know that Medicaid is a state-ran program, meaning that every state does it differently. Yep. So like Missouri, we are a monthly check, meaning that if somebody qualifies for a spin down or somebody, the qualifications for Medicaid is done on a monthly basis, compared to other states that look every 3 months or every 6 months.
But don't they only review your income every year? Like there's an annual Medicaid review for Medicaid?
No, it is
monthly.
It is monthly. If you look at the spin down requirements.
Okay.
In Missouri, the spin down requirements are a monthly spin down compared to other states which are either quarterly or semi-annually.
Right, but sorry, I misunderstood that. But like when they like review your
that I'm not
income.
Sure.
Okay, that's what I thought you were saying.
The income is reviewed. No, but
Gotcha.
I do know, again, whenever they look at the spin down is monthly.
Yes.
So what they're going to start doing is going into, and again, every state's looking at it at a different timeline, but starting back in April, specifically Missouri, but most states are also following suit, is that they're going to actually start reviewing the Medicaid spend downs again. They're going to start acknowledging Medicaid eligibility again. So knowing that, I think United Healthcare, who is, again, one of the largest providers of dual special needs plans, are saying only 13,000 of their members are being effective. So 13,000 is a big number. Nationally.
Okay.
So it's not affecting too many, but again, United Healthcare, there are other types of plans out there. UHC is saying about 13,000, which I'm suspicious of. But that's what they say. That's what they say. I'm like, I feel like it should be more. Poor Ben never saw that bus coming. That made me laugh. So what we're doing today.
So
yes.
Oh, they can't see those slides.
No, they can't see the slides.
This
is just for me to stay organized in my thought process. So let's start really quick exactly what is Medicaid, okay? Medicaid is a state-funded insurance for people who will qualify via low income, and it is state by state. Some states will actually say certain health conditions will get you on Medicaid. But for the majority of it, for states across the board, they are determined mostly by income. Some states will do by health condition.
And I think one of the most confusing things about it and important things to know is it's called something different in every state.
Yes.
Like I'll talk about Medicaid with clients and they're like, "Oh, my Mo Health Net? Like, is that what you're talking about?" I'm like, yes, that's what it's called. Yes. So know what it's called in your state.
Yes. And like again, like California is
and what the card looks like.
Medicaid or what's it called? Something Medi-Cal is what it is in California.
Oh yeah, Medi-Cal.
Yeah. So
Kansas is.
I don't remember Kansas. Brian, what's Kansas? I know you know.
Yes.
But again, it is called something different in states. The requirements are different in every state. The benefits that are covered are different in every state. And know that it does affect 1 in 5 Americans.
1 in 5.
In all Americans, but know that it is going to be really concentrated on seniors and people with disability.
Yeah.
So if you're working with people who are under age 65, most of the time those individuals, or a lot of the times, in fact, 45% of the time, those people are going to be on Medicaid. And so just keeping that in mind, again, we know if they're receiving disability income, they usually have a lower income. It's also important to keep in mind that Medicaid does look at assets. It doesn't look at income, which is really important when it comes to people who go into a nursing home. And I bring up nursing homes because there's a lot of misconceptions about what happens to a person when they get admitted as a resident in the nursing home, not recovery care, as a resident.
Yeah, they're living there.
They're living there.
And when will the Medicaid bed kick in?
Exactly. And that's because although Medicare doesn't cover custodial care or nursing home stays, nursing home residency, Medicaid does.
Yep.
And so what oftentimes when a person goes into Medicaid, if they go into a nursing home, if they don't have some form of asset protection like a trust, estate, things like that where they can put their belongings into, or they don't have long-term care insurance, the first thing the nursing home will do is try to get them on Medicaid so they can ensure that they get their money.
And basically spend down all your assets.
Everything. And note that it is assets.
They look
home,
at like
land, the farm, everything.
Cash value of life insurance. Like everything.
Yes. So just know that. That's why it's really important, again, to when you're working with people who, working with anybody, making sure they have some sort of plan to take care of those long-term care expenses, either like a long-term care plan or some sort of annuity, something that pays out. Can care. Thank you, Brad. Can care. So just keep that in mind. Again, that's why we see a lot of Medicaid cases happen in nursing homes.
And I think
that's the goal.
You guys might be aware of it, but like, and maybe this is just in Missouri, but the 5-year look back, I feel like the most common question I get is from the kids, can't they just give everything to me? Mm-mm. No, they have a 5-year look back to make sure that you didn't just give your assets to your children so that you'd qualify for Medicare to pay for your nursing home bed.
Exactly.
They look.
And again, there's a lot of ways. There's actually somebody that we're working with currently who husband and wife are getting a divorce too.
Oh.
So to make sure that the assets go under there, and they're trying to figure out, does the look back period go there? Because it wasn't given to me. It was taken from the divorce settlement. But they're getting divorced. They still love each other, still want to be with each other, but because of Medicaid coming in.
Oh my gosh, they're getting a divorce because of this?
Yes.
Whoa.
Getting a divorce, not because like...
Do you qualify for Medicaid?
To qualify for Medicaid so that she has no assets and he has all of them. And trying to figure out how the look back works with that. And they're getting, I mean, so far so good.
Weird.
They're going through all of it. So
interesting.
Just keeping that in mind as well. The biggest thing when it comes to Medicaid, and again, every Medicaid looks different in every single state. The major things that you can count on in your state is that Medicaid's going to come in levels. It's not like somebody qualifies for Medicaid or they don't, right? Yeah. Medicaid has all sorts of different levels.
What level do you have?
What level of Medicaid do you have? And people don't see Medicaid in that light.
Yeah.
So one of the levels is known as a spin down. We were talking about spin downs earlier. Spin down is what happens whenever somebody has to pay a certain amount of money.
It's a deductible.
It's like a deductible. Oh, that's a good way to describe that.
Yeah, it's totally a deductible.
It's a deductible. They have to pay a certain amount of money on medical expenses before they qualify for full Medicaid.
Yeah.
Where things get a little hairy, it depends on the state. So Missouri, we do monthly spin downs. Other states will do quarterly or semi-annual spin downs. So just keep that in mind. You can advise somebody if the spin down. I've seen spin downs anywhere from like $20 to
$1,500.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so people do have the ability, if they want to actually write a check and pay for their spin down up front so that they qualify for Medicaid the remainder of that time.
I've had a handful of people to where if it's like $100, like they'll pay for a supplement premium, which covers their Medicaid.
That's such a great point. Your Medicare supplement premium does count towards the spend down. So just keep that in mind as well. That's what we see. You're saying you're going to learn some stuff. I forget that like your networking partners with the Meal on Wheels and stuff, you have a lot of these type of clients.
I don't know if I'd have a lot of them.
You have more than I think that you would think you would have.
Yeah.
I think you have more than you think that maybe you think. Maybe. So anyways, just checking on this, making sure I don't have any more of.
So would you say the like first tier is the spend down?
So, actually, I would say the first tier
is the drug.
Is actually the state pharmaceutical assistance program. So another level that's pretty common. It's available. Well, it's not actually very common at all. It's available in about 15 states. It's something called
15 states.
There's not a lot of states that have this, but it's called a state pharmaceutical assistance program, also known as SPAP. And what an SPAP is, it's kind of like if Medicaid or non-Medicaid is here, full Medicaid is here, and SPAP is like right here. And what an SPAP means is that basically they look different in every state and they're called something different. Ours is Missouri RX. But what it is essentially a program that'll help pay for some or all of your Part D copays and deductibles.
So medical stuff is still on your own, but they're going to help out with drugs.
And it's actually pretty easy in most states to qualify for it. Yeah, a lot of people, the income levels are not threshold. It's different for every state. It's different for every state. But they're typically like a lot of people who do not even, you wouldn't ever think qualify for Medicaid, do qualify for these spin downs because they are usually mostly looking at income. So compared to most of Medicaid, it's all assets. Spin downs and SPAPs will typically only look at income.
What's the difference between the SPAP and LIS?
There's a lot of differences between SPAP and LIS. Number one, LIS is a federal program. SPAPs are Medicaid.
Okay, so you could technically qualify for MoRx and LIS?
Yes. And we'll get into LIX here in a second, talking about the types of Medicare savings programs. But yes, so LIS, low income subsidy, aka extra help, is federal. SPAPs are state ran.
Is it easier to qualify for the state?
It's way easier to qualify for state than the low income subsidy.
Okay.
Yes. We'll talk about that here in a second. So again, that's what SPAPs also keep in mind. If somebody does qualify for an SPAP, they do get an election period to be able to change Medicare Advantage plans, Part D plans. They do qualify for that upon qualification.
I feel like that's not talked about
and
enough.
It's a one-time annual election.
That's not talked about enough.
Well, Missouri, it's not, because Missouri has Missouri RX, where the rules, when I first joined doing this in 2013, it was literally like we were handing out SPAP applications left and right. People were getting them. People were applying for it.
I've
Was really
never
cool.
helped anybody do that.
Well, back in 2016.
It went away for a little bit,
It went away. They had a pause for a couple of years, and then they have brought it back, but in order to gain access to it is a lot more difficult than it used to be. So Missouri is, again, our SPAPs did a lot of this. Other states have been actually pretty stable with using their SPAP programs. So, yeah.
Okay.
So Missouri's an odd duck, but like, when aren't we, right?
Right.
And the last one is going to be QMB and QMB plus. QMB and QMB plus status means that person is typically fully dual eligible.
Full Medicaid, full health.
Yeah, the last time I did this, I started coughing too. Weird. At this part,
Is this
exactly.
your water?
No,
Coffee?
it's my coffee, even better. The QMB typically means that person has a spin down. QMB plus means that they are automatically dual eligible, which is really, really cool.
QMB means there's a spend down.
Usually. If you look, again, there's qualifications in there, but QMB typically means that there needs to be a couple more steps to go for before they have that full. And oftentimes that does mean spin down.
Yeah.
So a lot of these plans that are Medicare Advantage plans that are considered dual eligible plans require somebody to be QMB plus, meaning that they are full Medicare and Medicaid.
But I think the partial, like UHC has that new partial one.
Yes.
Regular QMB
would be just fine.
Yes. Yeah.
So traditionally, United Health. We'll talk about Medicare Advantage plans here in just a second. No, you're good.
Jumping ahead.
I love it because like you're asking this stuff and talking about it. So I was like, okay, like I'm talking about the right things. So you're giving me confidence. Actually, thank you. Next, I want to talk about really quick the Medicare savings programs. Medicare savings programs are basically broken up into kind of 4 that we really talk about: QMB, QMB plus, SlimB, QI, and Extra Help. QMB, we've already talked about that. QMB and QMB plus pays for Part A and Part B coinsurance, Part B deductibles, Part B everything, right? So that's what QMB and QMB plus covers. SlimB covers the Part B premium, right? So if somebody qualifies for QMB, they also are going to qualify for SlimB. So just know that for somebody who does have those programs, mean that they're not paying for really anything associated with their health insurance.
Yeah.
We'll get to the drug side here in a little bit, but it is important that we keep those separately, and I'll talk about that here soon. But whenever they qualify for QMB, they'll also qualify for SlimB, meaning that they have no Part B premium, no Part A copays or deductibles, or Part B copays or deductibles. The last one we talk about is qualified individual, QI. It also pays for the Part B premium, but people don't really talk about that very often. It is easier qualification or a higher threshold than SlimB does, but it is an annual program that runs out after a certain amount of time. So like you can say, like, they have to apply for it annually.
I didn't know that.
Once you get it, you can't. You're not automatically enrolled. You have to apply for it every single year. And let's just say, I'm going to use the number 100 because it's easy. It may only have enough money in there to have 100 beneficiaries. So if you're the 101st person to apply, you don't get it. It does run out. So it has way more than 100, but it's just round numbers. Once it's out, and you have to apply for it annually. The last one we talked about.
I'm taking a picture of this screen right here.
I could send. You know people. I could send this to you. The last one that we talked about is Extra Help. Extra Help is also known as Low Income Subsidy, aka LIS. We were talking about that a little earlier. It is the Medicare savings program that looks directly at prescription drug costs. And so Extra Help will pay for the premium, copays, and deductibles of prescription drugs.
So if you you qualify for QMB and QMB Plus, are you automatically enrolled in extra help, just like Slim B?
I love what's happening here. 99% of the time, yes. I've not seen somebody qualify for QMB and QMB Plus that didn't get extra help.
Okay, I was going to say, I've never run into anybody that hasn't
had
their drugs covered
also. It's typically going to cover, but I'm glad that you're asking about application, because when it comes to extra help, if you do qualify for QMB or QMB Plus, you do automatically get enrolled into LIS.
Okay.
Clients will know that they're automatically enrolled into LIS because they will receive a purple letter from Medicare.
Purple letter.
Yes, they get a purple letter from Medicare. Also, when somebody gets enrolled automatically into low-income subsidy, aka extra help, they will also get auto-enrolled into a prescription drug plan, because LIS does not work on its own. LIS has to work through a Part D carrier in order to help the client.
They're automatically enrolled, even if you're already enrolled in?
So that's where a little bit of funky happens. They automatically will get enrolled into this. Now they do, and in Missouri it's a WellCare plan. It's it's kind of the same across the board, but they do have a right, because again, when somebody qualifies for LIS, that's the quarterly election that they get to change drug plans, enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan, disenroll from the Medicare Advantage plan. They get a special election period every quarter, every calendar year quarter, except for the fourth quarter of the year. And they have to use AEP, and that effective date goes into January just like everybody else. But for the rest of the quarters, they can use that, enroll into a new plan effective the following month. Now, if somebody already has a prescription drug plan that they're using, I've seen it where they get auto-enrolled into a new one, but oftentimes it's just canceling it. I can't say what the rule. I'll be honest. I don't know what the rules are, but I have seen it too where like the next month they're on a new plan, even though that they were currently on a PDP plan.
So I find this really interesting that if you get granted QNB from the state Medicaid, but then they're going to automatically enroll you in the federal LIS, not the state.
So actually, a lot of times what these plans are, and I was actually doing this training yesterday with Chalin, and he kind of explained this, and I didn't really understand the thought process behind it. But what the thought process is that they're actually like on purpose. The reason why Medicare Advantage plans, specifically for DSNPs, were designed was because the state is actively trying to get people off of their pay. Like they're actively trying to get, because Medicare is a primary payer,
right?
So they're actively trying to get less stress on the state and put it more on the federal route, right? Which is why these are being pushed more.
Repeat that. So how is a dual helping get it back to the federal? So
a dual is helping it get back to the federal, because keep in mind, Medicare is primary, always. If that is being managed by a Medicare Advantage plan, again, the Medicare Advantage plan is getting reimbursed by Medicare, taking
not
that
Medicare,
on.
Medicaid.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
So, interesting.
So we'll talk more about like Medicare Advantage plans and like kind of how those look like to these people who are Medicaid eligible. But real quick, Brad said, crazy that Missouri client of mine says she's been paying spin down for years. Wonder if she can get a refund? Maybe.
That should have been
absolutely
the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, for again, since that happened in 2020.
Probably It's probably we had 3 years.
Yeah.
It's probably been 3 years
for sure. So just keeping that in mind, again, so Medicaid savings programs, QMB, Slim B, QI, extra help. That's what takes care of why a person who is dual eligible, QMB plus, why they are receiving no bills. Now, something I will say about extra help is make sure that they're on a plan that the premium is less than about $34. Because extra help, when it pays for the premium for a Part D plan, it does have a threshold for how much it will pay. Now, there's also something that when you're calculating extra help, keep in mind that in order to qualify right now, extra help LIS comes in levels. There's 25, 50, 75, and 100% LIS.
I feel like it's hard to quote with LIS on there.
It is.
I never have felt confident in it.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, in 2024, that's going away. It's either LIS or not. So you don't have to worry about the levels of LIS.
Okay.
But right now, LIS is calculated based on what percentage of the federal poverty level you are.
Okay.
So if you are 135% of the federal poverty level, then you get 100% LAS, meaning that your premiums covered. Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
But that's going to change again going into 2024. You're not going to see those levels again. So there is a way on SocialSecurity.gov where you can calculate their federal poverty level, things like that. But oftentimes, again, they're social workers, and they should be receiving notifications of their limits via Medicare. So they will get that, but just keep that in mind. If you're using Medicare app to quote Part D and Medicare Advantage plans, you can put in there what level of low-income subsidy they're getting, and it'll calculate the premiums, and it'll calculate.
Maybe I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can select the levels in there. It'll calculate premiums and copays. The reason why people will say, well, let's jump into this part right here. Medicare Advantage plans. Whenever I said you have to keep the two very separately, I keep forgetting you guys can't see my slides. Whenever I'm talking about you have to keep the two separately, it is because a normal Medicare Advantage plan, you will only see one premium, the client will only see one premium, but there are two premiums going into that plan. There's the health premium and the drug premium, right? So oftentimes we'll look at D-SNP plans and you'll see something where they're like, oh, they're getting a $19 premium on this. I thought this was supposed to be $0.
It's the drug premium.
It's the drug premium. So always double check that. That's why it's really important to know what their level of extra help is, because it will affect the premiums of those plans. There's oftentimes, if you look at plans that are, and they call them look-alike plans. United Healthcare has a bunch of these, and they do have premiums or $19, $20, $29 premiums, but a person on LIS will pay nothing because all of that premium is tied to the drug portion. So be really conscious of that when you're looking at premiums and you're talking to somebody who is on LIS. It may make a difference of what their actual Medicare Advantage premium is, because you can be on LIS and not be on Medicaid.
Yes.
So,
yeah. I've got a couple clients.
Exactly. Yep. So just be really conscious of that as well. So why do you put your clients on D-SNP plans? That's one question I get. Like, well, why? Because right now they're not paying anything.
I'm very frank when it comes to my D-SNP plans. If I come across somebody who wants it and they are older and having lots of health problems and nursing home is in the future, assisted living, I don't put them on dual plans.
Yeah, well, assisted living, yeah.
Like, I don't, because even if they want it, I'll say, you're going to have better care, just straight Medicare and Medicaid. You're not going to mess with those loopholes, and all the extras that you would get from that dual plan are going to take a back burner to you needing long-term care, like skilled setting.
I think that's super fair.
But most of my duals are in their 40s, 50s. They're the younger people who love the extra benefits. And it makes a true difference in their daily living, having extra grocery allowance, utility allowance, all of that stuff. And it's life-changing for them. But I always tell them, if you ever get into that type of skilled setting, we're going to drop it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's really helpful insight of being like, because I always talk about why would somebody not do this, and it's the networks. A lot of people, I mean, when you put them into these plans, oftentimes these plans are HMO style plans. And so if like something that they didn't have to worry about before, they have to worry about networks. So somebody will be like, well, if I go out of network, the Medicaid will still pick up. Yeah. It won't. Medicare is going to be primary there. So knowing that like you do have to follow the network that the HMO has in place. So just be conscious of that. But I think always great. I know we talked about too, like the skilled rehabilitation centers and stuff not playing well with Medicaid, or not playing well with Medicare. But I will say oftentimes providers will actually prefer working with people who have these plans because Medicare is always going to pay better than the Medicaid. And so providers actually, doctor providers, pharmacy providers will actually prefer to work with people who are on these styles of plans. Yeah. So just keeping that in mind. Yeah. But again, whenever we look at those extra benefits, the travel, over-the-counter drugs, gym memberships, and division hearing, keep in mind that D-SNP plans get a lot more freedom because they are not having to invest those dollars into the actual benefits of the plans because Medicaid is picking up a lot of that too. So they have like $5,000 of dental benefits.
Huge
They
amount.
get gas cards. They get more groceries.
Dang.
They get utilities paid for that they can't do. By law, CMS will not allow those same benefits to be on normal
Medicaid
plans. So making sure that like there are a ton of reasons to get a decent plan.
Yeah.
Got some fun comments here.
We had a handful of comments.
Yeah, it said praise Jesus over the one level for LIS.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. And then still need to disclose premium in case they lose Medicaid, just always as a CYA. Always disclose premium of what those are. But reminder, if somebody does lose their Medicaid status, that does open up an SEP for their Part D and their Medicare Advantage plan. Michelle said the carrier can look up the level of low-income subsidy and can give you a breakdown of premiums by level. United Healthcare does this. Anthem has probably the best one. Humana has a great one. Aetna does that. So all of these carriers do have abilities for you to check eligibility and level of Medicaid. I think, again, it used to be United Healthcare had the best one.
Right
United
now,
Healthcare is actually kind of saying, like, maybe don't use ours.
I was going to say, now they've said to call in.
Yes.
Because with all of the changes, there's just some discrepancies between that checking system.
I hear Anthem has the best one. That Anthem's lookup system.
I've ever used Anthem.
Anthem and Humana have the best ones.
What did Brad say? Interesting that I was on a UHC webinar last week and they referred to LIS as a state pharmaceutical program.
Not the same thing.
I've never heard of LIS referred. Yeah, I think that person may have been
No, they were
confused.
wrong. State pharmaceutical programs and LIS are two completely different things. No, that is wrong. It's because the state pharmaceutical program is a level of Medicaid. They are not the same thing whatsoever. So so just to kind of round this out, one thing I will mention when it comes to just for Medicare supplements, Medicare supplement plans is actually illegal to sell somebody who is dual eligible. It's actually illegal to sell them a Medicare supplement plan. However, it is illegal to sell somebody a Medicare supplement when they are receiving full dual Medicaid benefits.
Illegal? Who polices that?
Department of Insurance.
Really?
Yes. Oh yeah, it is. And I'll tell you something to keep in mind as well with these is that if you're talking to somebody who, okay, let me just say this. Is state by state, because Medicare supplements are ran by the Department of Insurance, so that's a state by state regulations. So two things that affects. Number one, actually only really one thing that affects is going to be, does losing Medicaid open a guarantee issue for Medicare supplements? Some states, yes. Some states, no. Kansas, it does. Missouri, it does not. So if you lose your Medicaid status in Missouri, you cannot GI into a Medicare supplement. And if you want to know specifically what your plan allows, it seems kind of funny. The best tool for understanding state-by-state rules for Medicare supplements is actually Mutual of Omaha's underwriting guide.
I was going to say, I use that for lots of stuff.
Everything. Mutual of Omaha's underwriting guide is probably the best resource for being like, what does this state allow?
Does this do?
Like, does this termination of plan need to be voluntarily or involuntarily? All of that.
All
Mutual
GI
of Omaha.
stuff
They have everything for every single state. But check your state to see if losing Medicaid opens up a guarantee issue window for you. Missouri, it does not. On the other side of that, though, if you're working with somebody who is currently on a Medicare supplement and they qualify for Medicaid, you can, what's it called? Not delay. You can basically pause their Medicare supplement. What is that called?
Suspend?
Thank you. You can suspend their Medicare supplement for 24 consecutive months. So that if they qualify for it, you basically fill out a form. It suspends the Medicare supplement. When they lose that Medicaid status, they start it right back up. No underwriting questions, no harm, no foul.
I'm trying to think. I've got a client who's on a MedSup and PDP, but she just qualified for LIS. But that's not illegal.
That does nothing. LIS only affects the Part D.
Right. So there's nothing.
But, oftentimes people do qualify for Medicaid, just maybe not the full level of it.
She's got too many assets.
That'll do it. Yeah, because LIS is only going to look at income compared to...
she's got investments.
Other one has assets. So, good to keep in mind. But, yes, you can suspend. And what's really cool about the Medicare supplement suspension is that, if they lose their Medicaid status for, 2 months and they get back on it, then that 24 months restarts.
Oh, yeah, that's
so they get 24 consecutive months of suspending the Medicare supplement to where they're not paying the premiums, and then they can get that back. No if
that's pretty cool.
Butts, no coconuts. What's that off of? No if, ands, buts, or coconuts.
Don't know.
Watch too much Disney.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think that's Disney, though.
It's not?
I don't know.
I think you're, I don't know.
I don't know.
I have trust issues.
Yeah.
Perfect. So guys, that is basically just a high level overview of Medicare and Medicaid. There are so many things like in each state that your Medicaid is going to look different, but these are kind of things that are pretty universal across all 50 states. So just keep that in mind. Again, D-SNP plans, I will say if you're looking for a niche or wanting like a boost in production, D-SNP plans are the way to do it. Carriers are talking about how we don't have enough agents. We have so much opportunity, we don't have enough agents.
I feel like there's that market just isn't aware. Like they're not aware that those plans are out there for them.
Well, and one thing I will say, I actually did a seminar a couple weeks ago in Denver, and one of the questions was, how do you help with D-SNP
awareness?
No, when they stay put, retention.
Oh, yeah.
What's the deal? How do you help with D-SNP retention? Because they can change every quarter. Yeah. So, like, do you want to work that hard and then have them move somewhere else next quarter?
Referrals.
And the idea here, that's just it. Like, they actually are very sticky clients because they're the clients that actually utilize the benefits compared to others who don't.
Get the relationship with the nonprofits, and it's just a foot in the door.
Exactly. Yep. They say a normal Medicare Advantage plan is on the books between 5 and 7 years, typically at 5.5, 6 year mark. Medicare dual SNP plans stay on the book. It's a little shorter, but it's about 4.5 years.
Okay.
So they're not much less sticky.
Not much less.
Not much less sticky. So just keeping that in mind as well, that this is incredible. They pay the same commissions. They are the book, like exactly what Kari's talking about. They're going to talk the most. You'll get the most referrals for them. We actually have a lot of training on our university about how to market, because marketing to the D-SNP is different.
Yep,
it's a very, very different process to attain D-SNP clients. You got to be where they are. You can't expect them to come to you. You have to be seen and be available and be where they're at. But we have a lot of trainings on how to get your D-SNP. You get yours by networking. Mm-hmm. Like, you do everything best. You get it by just knowing the peoples.
Yep. Knowing the people that are in front of them.
Knowing the people that are in front of them.
It's the way to do it. Any final thoughts?
I got some good. Will we email this out? Yeah, of course, this training is always available on our YouTube page. You can always watch it there. But yeah, we're more than happy. On the Facebook group, I am going to put the CM Ducks because I think that's important.
It's very
important.
important.
The people need to know.
They need to know. I need to know.
The people need to know.
I need to know too.
I don't know. And then, and somebody said the dual market also... I think it's all on what you set the expectations up for. Oh, this person was saying, I don't know who this is, sorry, but they're saying the dual market is also not loyal and change all the time. Again, statistics show that is not true. Yeah. They do not change often. And then I think it's all on what you set expectations up front with the client too.
Yeah,
that's an incredible point. Expectations are everything, and making sure you set the right expectations so they know exactly how to interwork with you.
Some of my dual clients are the ones that call me the most, and they like won't even talk to my assistant.
Yeah.
And they're like, nope, Kari's our girl.
Yes.
Not even talking to you.
I think that is fair. They aren't.
Because I think, I don't know, maybe there's some distrust. I don't know.
I don't know what, but I will tell you, they are going to be some of your more needy clients.
Yes.
Because they're using the benefits.
Yep.
They'll be some of your more needy ones, but they also stay put.
Yeah. Agreed.
Any more final words of wisdom about what it's like to do the Lord's work and work with these? I would say it's the most at risk or the most vulnerable clientele. Any knowledge you want to drop on what it's like to sit across the table from them and talk with them? Put you on the spot.
Be genuine. I some of my like most memorable meetings have been with those clients. I've had somebody literally in tears when she found out the dental benefit, and she was like, I might be able to get a job. Like, I'm so embarrassed of my teeth. Like, I never smile.
Oh, I wasn't ready for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was very humbling. Yeah. So just think of it from that light.
Brian saying my lice must be itchy. I've been doing this a lot. I have dry scalp, Brian. Leave me alone. Doesn't mean to make them gross and sticky. Thank you, Brian, for your wonderful words of wisdom, as always. Brian, I'm going to go see... Actually, I'm not seeing... Brian Rober. Brian, he got mad at me one time. It's Rober.
It's not Robber.
It's not Robber. But I am his best friend in this industry is none other than Mike Adorna, who I was gonna say I'm on my way to go see, but Mike's actually with our crew, with the career with Senior Benefit Services in the Bahamas. Mike's in the Bahamas.
I'm supposed to be in the Bahamas right now. And I'm not.
Is a moment of silence for Kari not being in the Bahamas.
Please have a moment of silence.
Because you qualified for this trip and you said, nope, the seniors need me. Medicare Cafe needs me. I must stay.
And my children.
And the children too. Fine. Yeah. For the children. But appreciate you guys so much. We will see you next Tuesday. In Iowa. So much fun in Iowa. With Medico / Willoughby. Awesome.
Willoughby, Wallaby, woo.
Woo!
An elephant sat on you. That's how
Is that the song? Goes.
Willoughby, Wallaby, wee. An elephant sat on me.
I think on that note. All right. Until next time, guys. Have fun.
Make money.
And give impeccable service. Impeccable or is incredible?
Impeccable.
Give impeccable service. You're right. I've only been doing this for 7 years? 8 years? I've been doing this for 8 years.
I've been
on Medicare Cafe. Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.